Boom, boom, boom. Check, 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 check. What's up? Good morning. God damn it. I always forget about this big fucking picture in here. How we doing? Do I kind of look like a lesbian today? Can't really tell. Steak, do I kind of look like a lesbian today?
No.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I feel like I don't like the trim, my beard trimmed. I don't want my beard trimmed so short. I'm not into it. Your beard's a good length.
Do I look like a lesbian?
No, no, not really. Working remote, which means I can slack off. Well, this isn't slacking off, bitch. We need all hands on deck. How we doing? Good morning. Degenerate 12 with a follow yesterday, which is kind of interesting because that's what we almost named the degenerate. Mob Boss has arrived. W's Mob Boss in the chat. What's on your sweater, by the way?
In the clouds, dude.
Oh, Is that a friend's clothing company?
It is.
That's pretty cool. I kind of like it. It means like you're really stoned, right?
It's Nick's.
Oh yeah, that's right. Is he still pushing it?
No.
I actually do think it's kind of cool. You told me about this before. I forgot.
Yeah.
But at first I thought it was like some font on your screen. That's why I was like, wait, do you have like some sort of header? But never mind. Is that say Lions under your name?
Yeah.
Okay. And you have an exclamation point and you have it in all caps. Nice. You're really excited about that, huh?
I'm really excited.
Awesome. Can't wait to talk about it. All right. DeBoer wins the first natty after Saban retires, the tie back on top. What are we talking about? Did
That didn't
DeBoer
happen,
go to
right?
Bama?
No shot. No shot.
Was DeBoer confirmed? No. Please no. That would be terrible. Making nose beers one for Greg. Bro looks high. You do kind of look stoned, Steak. You don't have to confirm or deny.
Sad to report I'm not. No, I wish
You're
I
not.
was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lines were minus 200 before lines were gone yesterday. Oh, gotcha. Okay. Good morning, everybody. I'm gonna let's see. What does it say? Friday song. Yeah, you know what? I don't know where my speaker is. I may have left it at the office, although I don't. It's somewhere here. Hold on one second. Just gotta respond to a text real quick. Okay, confirmed. All right, cool. I got a couple. I got a corp fucking nightmare going on. Oh, look who's in the building. Nice and fucking Corpus Maximus. Look at you. You look sharp. No tie today.
No, bro, I haven't worn a tie in like 10 years.
Well, if there's anyone to wear a tie, it could be you because you got a nice skinny neck. Is that a smoothie? A breakfast smoothie?
There's a little breakfast smoothie.
That's nice. I did not have a breakfast smoothie today. I had to take my mom to a Hyundai dealership to pick up her car, and the only thing in Claremont, Florida, that you can get for breakfast is a Dunkin' Donuts. So I got a nice. Although I do like Dunkin' iced coffee. I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Yeah, they get good coffee.
Starbucks for me is too bitter, but Dunkin's like a little bit more mild. I like that. You know, I don't get like jittery and shaky, and plus it doesn't taste like shit. It definitely is a little bit more like hospital coffee, though.
So that was a long way of saying you had a donut for breakfast.
Say that again. Sorry.
That was a long way of saying you had a donut for breakfast.
Well, I think it's kind of a reason. If you've ever been to Claremont, Florida, you would probably understand. Low key fried right now.
I wish I was,
No,
man.
Steak would admit he was. Steak's already been up and at it. I talked to him this morning. He's had to already fucking do some corp shit as well. No joke here, fellas. So we all know DeBoer has South Dakota ties. One of my managers told me 2 weeks ago. Told Saban is retiring. DeBoer is going to Bama. Told him he was high. He was going to right. Not saying a reliable source, but if he gets it right, DeBoer inside info. Wow, that would be pretty crazy if DeBoer goes to Bama. I would not really. I don't really care, actually. I don't mind if Bama's good. I'm just kind of sick of Saban. I don't know if you guys agree. You're both SEC people. Steak, do you just want Bama to go away for a little while, or are you just happy Saban's gone?
I want them to go away for a little while, and
Yeah,
I'm happy.
absolutely.
Greg agrees there in unison. Okay.
Absolutely.
But you were big Bama fans to get into the playoffs, weren't you? Nah, sort of. I get it.
Every single thing I said would happen happened.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
Except
I couldn't have been more wrong.
Fucker. Yeah, that's okay. Shout out John Kimball for a sub bang. CJ Tukey. Oh no, that was yesterday. Greg, remember when we were going to do the Degenerate? We were going to name it the Degenerate Rant. Someone just followed us named Degenerate 12.
That was never a thing. That was in your brain only.
That was in my brain only. Well, someone got in my brain and just made a Twitch account called the Degenerate. Kind of spooky. Okay, what do we got here?
Did the right thing.
Everyone had under Thunder minus 60. Oh God, I saw that. Jeez, shout out the.
I'm gonna go get a fresh thing of coffee.
Okay,
I
bye.
bet the Blazers.
You did?
Yeah.
I didn't see your.
I only lost last night.
I don't check everyone's card nightly, but I do see the notifications, and I actually didn't see that one on there, so maybe it slipped by. So you might have gotten away with it. The only thing is, I will say there's two. I listened to Bill Simmons in the NBA offseason, and there's two things that he said. One, Scoot Henderson was going to be like a phenomenal rookie, and apparently he has been terrible. The guy for the Blazers.
Yeah.
The other thing he said was he loved the Atlanta Hawks win total over. That was his favorite bet. I think it was 41.5 or 42, and it doesn't look like they're off to a great start.
They're not.
I bet Celtics last night, Steak. Don't worry. Yep. I bet the Ducks get shut out, and they had one shot in the first period and then scored immediately in the second. And then they had 3 goals. That was cool. Board was chalk yesterday. Yeah, what are you going to do? People forget Bama was trash before Saban. Yeah. We forget. And Clemson was trash before Dabo. What are you going to do? Dabo deserves his flowers. They all deserve their flowers. National Blowout Association last night, besides Mav games. He had the second worst plus minus history last night. Minus 56 was actually incredible. Who did? Scoot? Huh!
Gotta be Scoot. That's hilarious. That's a scary number.
Yeah, Special K, I am too, but don't get too excited. Don't get too excited. Can the Florida Panthers fuck off, please? Seriously, man. They are so goddamn good. Bama has infinite money. Well, Notre Dame has infinite money. That shit ain't working. You know why? Because geographically, they're fucked. Nobody wants to go spend 4 years in South Bend. Okay, Scoot equals Fultz. Stop that. Fultz has been competent, to say the least, lately. Although Steak's not really a Fultz guy for the Magic.
I mean, I'm a Fultz guy for – I'm not a Fultz guy. I'm really not. I actually think he's like the fourth best option for what the Magic have. He's definitely a bust as a number one pick. There's no denying that.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you there, but I don't know. I mean, he's done some good things for the Magic, but we don't have to talk about the Magic. We're going to talk about the NFL. People forget the second best college football coach of all time. No, Hagelin, nobody forgets that. I can promise you. Number one's Urban Meyer, though. Unfortunately, I hate to say it. Miss me with that Bear Bryant shit. All right, I hate to tell you, but I think gun to my head, I got to say Urban Meyer is the best college football head coach. Steak, how does it feel that in the last game ever you bet against Saban and won?
Really good. Really good.
Curious if Steak has any NHL futures.
Not one. Oh yeah, Dallas Stars to win the cup.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
one.
one.
The only one I have.
Yeah, that's a good one. You don't think Saban is the GOAT? Fuck Saban. No, I'm just kidding. He's great. Yeah, I like Urban Meyer though.
Do you think the GOAT?
That's a pretty good hot take though, right? Like for a conversation, like a dinner conversation. If I was to be stubborn and say I think Urban Meyer is the best college football coach of all time,
I could see Skip and Shannon screaming at each other about it.
I mean, look, if you're asking me right now, who would I take? I have a college. I can have any head coach that I've seen in my lifetime. I'm saying give me Urban Meyer. Got a problem with that?
I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I would say Nick Saban has 6 championships. Dude, did you see what was it said on Saban? He was like 13-1 or 11-1 in SEC championship games.
I don't know. Greg, your Wi-Fi is kind of bad. Maybe it'll work itself out, but you just froze twice.
Really?
Saban got every 4-year player a title. No, that's kind of impressive. MJ with a sub bang. John Kimball with a sub bang. We got a hype train going nice and early. 81 people. It says 96 people in here. What's up, everybody watching on Twitter? 11:10. Greg is locked in. He's early. He's got his corp shirt on. I think we're feeling good and we can get this bus rolling. But before we do, I got to confirm something real quick. No, he has not. All right, hold on. I need this. This owner keeps fucking dodging one of my questions. Let's get into the board and let's get into our best bets. Elliot. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Can we please confirm pets? Okay. I've asked this question 6 fucking times and I don't get any answers. Yes. 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay. Sorry for the distractions. Thanks for everybody for locking in. Hype train's going. We're going to get into the board. We've got, what is it called now? Super Wild Card Weekend. That's kind of fun. So we got 2 games tomorrow. I don't know. Steak, we didn't make any plans for these games. I don't know what you're doing this weekend. If you want to come up with something, if you want to lay low, that's also fine with me. I think I talked to Ian McMillan I had on yesterday, and I was going to try to start being a little dabbling in dry January, as lame as that sounds. But I'm gonna have some non-alcoholic Guinness, which if you want to watch the games, then maybe we can share some, and if not, that's also okay too. So we got 4:30 tomorrow, Texans and Browns, and 8 o'clock we got the Chiefs and the Dolphins. We'll get to the Chiefs and the Dolphins in a second, but I did tweet something about the frigid temperatures, which I'm excited to hear everybody's take on that. And I love doing that, by the way, because I like to see where people's heads are at. So we're going to address some of the comments that I got in there, which I found pretty interesting, and perhaps shine a light on a court player that I thought about targeting for a player prop, because God knows I have been mushing.
Can I ask one question?
You can ask any questions you want.
Did you throw the non-alcoholic dry January thing in and then immediately keep talking on purpose so me and Greg couldn't respond?
Sort of.
Or do you want commentary on it?
Well, Greg's not going to be anti-dry January. He's done that shit for
It's January 12th.
That's my point. Thank you.
That's
January 12th.
That's a good time to start.
Is it?
No,
Super
dry January is January.
I just said I'm not going all in on dry January, but I might dabble in it.
On
So you
Super
might
Wild
not-
Card Weekend.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You might dabble in it by not drinking tonight, starting
Well,
12 days late.
That's what I'm getting at. I'm not trying to you're acting like I'm over here fucking being St. Thomas.
You can't
saying
say
I'm doing
January and say you might start the 12th. But
I think what I said was Ian was talking about how he's doing dry January and brought up non-alcoholic Guinness, and that I am going to dabble and maybe take a little.
You're not. You can't say you're dabbling in dry. You're not doing dry January. You're just having a non-alcoholic Guinness 2 weeks into January.
I just said I'm not doing dry January. I'm dabbling in dry January. And you're saying
I can't dabble. You can't dabble in dry January.
Who makes the fucking dry rules? You guys? It's got to be 1 month or nothing?
Ask the chat.
January.
It's called dry January.
Yeah, I'm going to dab. When you dabble in it, means you just do a little bit.
No, dude.
What is wrong?
I'm gonna dabble in a little bit of cocaine tonight.
Yeah. If a lot of people are doing a lot of cocaine and you want to have some, that's dabbling.
You can't just not have a beer one night and be like, yeah, I did dry January. I missed the first 30 days, but I had a non-alcoholic Guinness on January 31st. I dabbled in dry January.
Well, Greg, what I was going to get at is this would be day 3 of no alcohol. And then if I went into the weekend just drinking non-alcoholic Guinness, that would make it 5 days. So I feel like 5 days out of 31 days, that's dabbling.
So it's not 5 days out of 31 days. It's 2 days out of 12 days. That's where you're at right now.
Yeah, but I'm talking about. Go ahead.
Also, thank you for waiting until you were going to hang out with me on Super Wildcard Weekend to dabble in dry January. I appreciate that. I feel honored.
Well, I mean, look, I either get it out of the way now or I do it conference championship. No, you can't do it conference.
Why don't you just do it after the Super Bowl? Dry February.
That's not dry
February 11th.
Well,
no, you know what, DJ? Jake quit smoking weed because he hasn't smoked yet today. So he quit smoking weed.
According to the chat, Greg, I have smoked today.
Yeah, everybody says he looks stoned, which he kind of does. I would agree with that.
It's the
Greg, your Wi-Fi is very bad, but we're just going to keep pushing through. All right.
Damn it!
It's okay.
I got to move to a different room. I'm trying a new office with the.
It's okay. Let's. I say we push through. Steak. What do you think? We just push through.
I can hear Greg fine.
Well, I can hear you fine. You're just glitching. I think it's fine.
Okay. If audio is good, then I'll let it ride.
Okay. Everybody says do it after the Super Bowl. Fine. I'll do dry mid February.
I'd like that a lot, honestly.
Okay, fine. So we'll figure it out if we're going to do
wait, it would be mid-February if you waited till after the Super Bowl, but it's dry January, even though you waited till around the same time in January the Super Bowl would be.
Oh, wait. So listen, if I don't drink tonight, that's 3 nights of no alcohol. If I don't drink Saturday and Sunday, that's 5 days straight of no alcohol. That's not dabbling?
No, because it's the 12th. You waited till the 10th to start it. If
you can only dabble if you start on day 1.
You can only dabble.
I don't think you can dabble in dry January. That's what I think the rules are. But like I said, we should ask the chat.
You heard Ian say it. It sounded cool. And now you're trying to tie your wagon to him.
No. It didn't sound cool. It's always, I've understood going sober. I've taken a month off before. And Greg, I actually did it in summer when you're in New York was really hard. I think it was
stupid.
June.
Yeah.
It was very dumb.
Run a poll. Can you dabble in dry January?
Okay. So I did it in June and that was really tough, but I'll tell you what, I felt great. I like drinking, but I like taking breaks from drinking. Alcohol is poison. I'm not going to say it's not, but he didn't say dry January sounds cool. I've heard of dry January before, obviously. He had just said he was doing it and he tweeted a picture of non-alcoholic Guinness. That's what got in my brain. I can still enjoy a Guinness with no alcohol. And
you haven't had a non-alcoholic Guinness. It's not going to be the same thing.
Whatever, man. All right.
Reduced fat Oreos. It's not the same thing.
You ever had Oreo mints? Thins? Oreo thins?
They're actually Oreo thins are pretty good. That doesn't make Oreo thins is not low fat though. It's just a smaller cookie.
Low fat is horseshit. I'd rather just go thin. So like every 3 is 1 Oreo. Low fat just means there's something else in it that's worse for you. We all know that. Aspartame.
Yeah, but I'm saying you can't have 12 Oreo thins and be like that doesn't count because I'm being healthy because I have Oreo thins. You're just eating more Oreo thins. You're still eating the same amount of volume of Oreo. You're just eating them in smaller cookies.
I don't know how we got here.
I don't know how we got here either. That you're eating 3 Oreos if you eat 12 Oreo thins. That's how I look at it.
Exactly.
Hold on.
You just eat more Oreo thins, but you think it's dieting because they're thin.
Hey, shout out to Just Baseball fans. I saw POD Pete in here with a 5-unit sub banger. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. The mods have ran a poll. And as of right now, can you dabble in dry January? Yes has 17 votes. No has 3. I'm just
We're
kidding.
not arguing.
I'm just kidding.
I'm just
kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There are
psychopaths.
There are 22 votes for no, and 5. Come on, I'm voting yes right now.
All right, go ahead, and then let's talk about the board.
All right, let's get into the board. We got 110 people in here. W's, we can get moving. Thanks for entertaining that conversation. I still think I'm kind of right. All right, I'm gonna pull up my screen. We're gonna share it. Kind of right. But I get what you guys are saying. I got to share my screen.
God, there's so many comments, dude. There's so many funny comments.
Yeah, the chat has been blowing up. I couldn't catch up to everything. Let's dabble in the board. There we go. I like to hear that. Greg is just anti the word dabble, is what I've come to the conclusion of.
I'm not.
Shut up. We're not going to harp on this anymore.
Maybe I am high.
Okay, let's talk the first game of the weekend. Sorry, Texans at home, 4:30 against the Browns. So, I brought this up yesterday with Ian, and I thought, don't the script writers in the NFL want to do everything they can to have a Joe Flacco revenge game against Baltimore? And how exciting would that be? And, he didn't look that excited. And I was really surprised. And then some people in the chat kind of agreed. They rather would get more excited to see CJ Stroud, the hot new rookie, advance in the playoffs. I found that to be a bit interesting. And maybe I'm biased because I have Browns future tickets to win the AFC, which I know is not hitting, but it's still fun to go for the ride. But regardless, I think seeing Joe Flacco and the Browns play the Ravens would be awesome. As much as I love CJ Stroud, and we love CJ Stroud. So maybe I'm a little bit wrong there. Before I give you my thoughts, because I've been rambling quite a bit, I'm going to hand it off. Let's start with you, Steak. We'll switch up the blunt rotation as we go. What do you think about this game? It is Houston. I believe it's plus 2.5, total at 44.5.
So I don't love a side, but I'm going to talk about where I lean, which is the Cleveland Browns. I love CJ Stroud. I feel like we say that every Friday we stream. We talk about how much we love CJ Stroud and the Texans. I'm not going to go into it. Right. I love them so much that all week last week I liked the Colts, and I literally couldn't make myself press the button because that's how much I like CJ Stroud. I don't think the Texans win this game. I really don't. And I'm not even using my gambling brain whatsoever. I'm strictly using my football brain. I like the Browns defense at home against a rookie quarterback, albeit a really good rookie quarterback. Team missing a few weapons. And honestly, I will take Joe Flacco's experience here. But I also want to mention, when the Joe Flacco thing comes crashing down, I think it kind of comes down pretty massively. Like if they win this game, I kind of could see them getting their ass kicked by the Ravens. And that might be public as well. And yeah, like I got to be honest with you, I'm not seeing a low scoring game either. I know it's weird, but I've kind of had my eyes on the over all week because I kind of think both teams score. And I'll be honest with you, I've seen a lot of people like the under. And I kind of like points in this one. 44.5 doesn't sound that low to me.
It doesn't. Greg, before we go to you, I just want to highlight a couple of the comments I found pretty interesting. Fat Girls brought up a pretty good one. And I always appreciate this from the chat when they bring up the Prize Pick squares because we acknowledge Prize Picks. We don't use it a lot, but I do like how people read the board, especially, with Javon and whatnot. So there are other guys in here too that are very, very good at it. So please feel free to share this. This is interesting. Flacco has a 1 FTD prop up that's fully greened out. I feel like Stroud struggles in Kareem, Drew, and Ford masterclass on the ground after what they did. Yeah, D Mahoney, what do you mean here? I subscribed, but it didn't pop up, DGen. Not sure what that means, but DM me if you're having any issues with something with the newsletter or with Twitch. But anyways, yeah, Greg, I want to hear what you think, and then we'll end with me because I have some thoughts on this game, and I might not have a bet, so I don't want to take up too much time. Where's your head at?
I don't know where I'm at with the total on this. I have come around to the Browns. I'm gonna buy it to 3, and sorry, Texans. I've come around to the Texans. I'm gonna buy it to 3, and I'm taking the Texans. I am not jumping off the CJ Stroud bandwagon. You look, and it sucks that we start with this one because there's other things of what got me here, but there's two main things you hear, right? So number one is if you look at all the games this weekend, I like a lot of favorites. So I was trying to figure out who my dog's going to be. And that's sort of how I got to the Texans. So it was in a roundabout way. The other side of it is there's that stat on quarterbacks making their first start, right? And it's like against the spread, they're 40%. So you got 4 in that bucket, right? You got Tua, who's making his first start. You got Stroud. You got the great Mason Rudolph. and then you got Jordan Love. So that's your 4 quarterbacks. So which of those 4, you got to think at least one of them's going to cover. I think it's going to be Stroud. I think they got destroyed and Amari Cooper went off, but that Texans defense had a lot of injuries, and also it wasn't Davis Mills, it was Case Keenum. Davis Mills came in late. I just think the Texans are able to get it together for this game, and the way that you beat the Browns and the way that other teams have put up points on them is with the long ball. And I like Nico Collins in this. I'll probably take his longest reception over. I just think he's going to get a couple of long balls. I think Schultz, the tight end, is going to have a pretty good game. I think they can do enough to cover. I don't necessarily know if I see him winning, but I think they can do enough to cover. And like Steak said, the Joe Flacco party is going to come crashing down. I think you get a defense that has already seen him and a defense that is healthier than when they saw him last. And you had Amari Cooper go absolutely insane. There's no way D'Amico Ryans doesn't, scheme differently against that and stop that fucking gaping hole. So yeah, I'm going to get there with the Texans. I'm going to buy it to 3 and let it ride.
Okay. Steak, any rebuttal on that real quick before I go?
One last thing. It's not necessarily a rebuttal, but I just want to mention, because I think it's really, to me, in my head, the Texans playoff win was last week. And now the Texans are sort of playing with house money. This season was a success. They go get their ass kicked by the Browns. They're division champs. Their rookie quarterback just played amazing. He's the offensive rookie of the year. And regardless of what happens in the playoff game, this season is a success for the Texans. It's not a success for the Browns if they'd lose this game. Even with all the injuries, even with the fact that they resurrected Joe Flacco, if the Browns lose this playoff game at home, it's a tragedy. The same old Browns lost a home playoff game as favorites. And I kind of like betting on teams in the situations the Browns are in more than teams in the situations the Texans are in.
What do you mean when the Browns have a home playoff game?
Browns are on
I'm
the road.
sorry. No, I didn't mean to say home playoff game.
Yeah.
But
okay.
Favored in a playoff game.
Favored in a playoff game. Yep. Thank you, KSAV, for the all caps there. Yep. We got that figured out. Appreciate it. I want to mention one thing that I really agree with here. Take away the 75-yard bomb. The Texans offense looked very pedestrian against a horrible Colts defense. I can't get that out of my mind. So I have a couple thoughts here. Ultimately, I have no play on the side. I lean Browns, but if I was to put money on this game, I would actually put it on the under. So we kind of all disagree here. Steak likes the Texans, but in the over.
We just don't align.
Yeah, no, but I'm pointing that out because sometimes people, think we're always just in unison. I want to make sure they know we're not. So I like the under, and I actually like the under a lot. I agree with Steak, though. It's a pretty fair line, but I can't get out of my head that the last time these teams played, just a couple weeks ago, granted there was no CJ Stroud, it was 36-22, so it's 58 points scored, and the Browns scored early and often. They had 22 points in the first half, and I'm pretty sure. Why are you shaking your head?
Because I just don't care about that game at all. It means nothing to me. I think it was an anomaly.
That's fair, and I'm not pointing this out as a reason why I think you're necessarily wrong, because, again, I don't even know that I'm going to play it. But Amari Cooper did go off. I think he had like 200 yards and 2 touchdowns or something. I think, though, like what Greg said, I agree with. I think it's the second time they're seeing him. I do expect the Texans defense to play better. I also think I think I see some regression from the Texans offense, because you do take away that 75-yard bomb, which was awesome, by the way. You take it away out of the equation, but at the same time you can't, because that's the aggressive play style and coaching that D'Amico Ryans has, which I love. But I don't know. I can't get out of my head that the Texans weren't up by 2 touchdowns in that game against the Colts. It felt like they should have been, yet they were a dropped pass away from losing and not even being in the situation. That's crazy. I mean, the Colts did not play well, but the fact that the Texans almost lost, I can't shake that. And that's also why I can't bet them. I think the Browns win. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't know that I really have a read on, like a game script or a prop. I think somebody said it, maybe a Jerome Ford Kareem Hunt masterclass or something like that. I could see the Browns running game doing better. The one narrative that's worth paying attention to here, Greg, I'm sorry, I don't know if you brought this up, but the Browns defense on the road has been terrible, night and day from how they are at home. So they are much worse on the road than they are at home. So maybe if you like the over, that's what you like, that their defense doesn't travel well, and that the Texans offense at home is pretty good. So that's all I got on that game. I think we can move on. Any last words?
Just that the Browns and under, even that you saying that, it sounds too easy to me.
This is very interesting. Texans haven't beaten a top 20 defense since week 6. Yeah, I mean, that's another note too. I mean, you look at the Texans schedule and who they've beaten, they're really not that impressive, these teams. Let's see real quick. Colts, Titans, Browns, Titans, Jets, Broncos, Jags, Cardinals. So, okay, we'll stop there. All right, so that's pretty much it. This game did not make our newsletter. No official picks. And we'll keep moving and talk about a game that I am very interested to get everyone's thoughts in. We've got the Dolphins on the road against the Chiefs. Looks like the line is now 4.5. I think it was 3.5 for a bit. So I don't know whether that's sharp money or that could be maybe some injury news. Maybe the Dolphins are banged up on both sides of the ball. Maybe somebody might have been playing that's not. Maybe Waddle. I don't know. Total 43.5. So this is a tough one for me. I think I'm going to get there with the Dolphins, but I got to tell you, I'm not overly excited about it. I've got some reasons, but I don't want to do too much rambling. So let's hand it off and switch up the rotation. Greg, where's your head at with the Chiefs Dolphins game, 8:00 Saturday night?
I'm stealing Steaks Thunder, but you let me go first. So
wait, why are we stealing
my Thunder at all? Go ahead.
Oh,
it's not his best bet, is it?
Yes, I am, because it's from a group text, but I like the over here. I think, and this was public brain Greg earlier in the week saw it and was like, oh, like it's going to be cold. It was supposed to be way windier. You got the Dolphins who've been struggling a little bit on offense. You got Kansas City who just hasn't been able to put it together. Like this seemed on paper to me, 4 days ago, one of the easiest unders out there. I actually really like this over. I think we see some points. I mean, you look back, there's two sides of why I go back and forth on the Dolphins. Number one, you look at their last 3 games. So what'd they do? Cowboys, Bills, Ravens. That's fucking 3 really tough games to end the season on. And then now you got Kansas City. Like that's daunting to play those 4 games in a row, especially as banged up as they are. So that's why I can't get there with the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. But fucking Skylar Thompson last year with the Dolphins put up like 20 plus against the Bills. Like Mike McDaniel's that was amazing. That was phenomenal. So that's why I want to get there with.
I think they scored 30.
I was going to say 30. I know Skylar Thompson, DJ, he did not hit his rushing yards prop. Do you remember that?
Greg, I'll never forget it. We were at Mohegan Sun or Foxwoods in Connecticut.
Yeah.
It was over 8.5, and I think I put $100 on it, and it went from 8.5 to 9.5. And I don't know that he had like 1 3-yard screen.
Yeah, it was never even close. But I do like the over. I think the Dolphins could actually cover in here. There's not a reality where I see them winning. They're so banged up. But I'm not taking the Chiefs money line, right? So if anything, a lean, I would probably say Dolphins 4.5. Also, DJ, maybe you're an influencer. Maybe other people have said it, but after you said something about the Dolphins, I've seen 6 people be like, "Is anyone taking the Dolphins? Is anyone taking the Dolphins?" Like all you fucks are taking the Dolphins. You're just pretending like no one is. I think that's the gross play that doesn't hit this week. And the Chiefs are still the Chiefs, and it's still Andy Reid, and he's able to scheme. But I do like the over in this, and that's my play.
Steak, before we go to you and before we go to this game, just real quick, the chat is hyped today. Hazen with a sub bang and gifted a sub bang, and Bats gifted a sub bang to dig that. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. And the polls are over. Can you dabble in dry January? Yes, made a tremendous comeback. 35-28. I'm just kidding. So on that note, I'm sorry. Yeah, that was pretty lame. I'm a trendsetter now. What can I say? Greg just annoyed me. No, Greg, I'm glad that you mentioned that because I do think I think it's nice to hear. As much as I thought the Dolphins were contrarian, after that tweet, a lot of people started commenting that they are taking the Dolphins, and there's more people on the Dolphins than I expected. Let's put it that way. I still think I like the Dolphins. I don't know that I like them to win, but I really like the 4.5. But sometimes that's the problem. You get these spreads that you feel comfortable taking. It is a pretty good number to come within 4. And the Dolphins, I know they're not good on the road. They haven't beaten a team worth of shit. But before I get into it any further, Crutch Bets gifted a sub bank to Cool and Fluke W. I think we're at a hype train level 2. Oh, no, level 3. Fuck yeah. Vibes are high on this Friday. Love it. Steak, so I know Greg stole your thunder a little bit with the over. Where are you going to be at in this game in terms of a side?
So can I still talk about the over a little bit?
You can talk about whatever you want. Yeah.
So there's never going to be, and I seen my boy Kobe's in here. And every time
5 sub bangs. Let's go. Sorry, Steak. Go ahead.
Love it. That's okay. Every time there's a million weather reports about a game, you got to like the over. You just do. And then toss in the fact that the Dolphins offense isn't playing that great and the Chiefs offense isn't playing that great. So like who really wants to over in this game in that kind of weather with these two offenses struggling? I understand it's Tua. I understand it's Pat Mahomes. They're both not playing great, and the weather is horrendous. So I'm absolutely betting the over. I'll have no regrets if I lose this one. The one I'm trying to come around on is the Dolphins, because while there's a lot of truth to the fact that the Chiefs have looked horrible and they're playing horrible, man, who could want the Dolphins after the way they played in Buffalo, after the way they ended the season, just absolutely choking the division away? I want to say I saw something that said they're the most injured team in the NFL. I just can't imagine who wants the Miami Dolphins in negative 45-degree wind chill. And everybody who sent me a parlay this week has had the Chiefs money line in it. I'm not even exaggerating. Every single person I know that I chat sports with, their parlays have included the Chiefs money line. So I'm just throwing that out there. With all that being said, I'm not 100% sure I can come around to the Dolphins. I think it's because my best bet was the Dolphins against the Ravens and they lost by 600 points. I'm still hurting from that. But I think the line keeps moving. So if I was going to take Dolphins, I'd probably wait till right about kickoff anyways. But as of right now, the only thing I have punched in is the over.
So I'm glad you mentioned that about the parlay thing. And, for the most part, I think the majority of our following still likes to hear stuff like this, whether it's what dictates their betting is on them. And we're not telling anybody or influencing them to make their decisions on betting the opposite way of the public or whatever. You can do whatever the fuck you want, but we are pretty contrarian, and we are mindful of where all the money is, what the house needs, etc. Everybody, from what I understand, is on the Chiefs in a parlay, and maybe more so with the Dolphins in a straight bet. And just to counter to add on to what you said, when I was listening to VSiN, I think it was yesterday, the morning show, they had Mike Palm on there, who's the guy who runs Circa. And I think my favorite thing about listening to VSiN is, some of the guests are great and everything. I like hearing the breakdowns and whatnot, but I love hearing the sportsbook managers come on. And when they start talking about how they are just taking so much money on one side, or it's like, oh, we can't get a bet on this team. And I'll never forget when I was a couple years ago, I think the Raiders were playing Jacksonville, and I bet the Raiders, and I thought I was cheeky as fuck, and they even went dog to favorite, and I was like, oh yeah, dog to favorite. I may have even got a point of CLV, and I'm on the treadmill, in the morning, on an incline, steep incline, heart rate just going nuts.
Yeah, you must have been on there for a good 8 minutes.
And the sportsbook manager comes on. This is like 11:30, 12 o'clock before kickoff, and they're like, we can't get any money on the Jags. We can't get a Jags bet to save our life. And I was like, no fucking way. Sure enough, I think the Raiders went up in that game and ended up losing 27-20. That stuck with me. When you hear shit like that, sometimes that is when you get burned. And what Mike Palm said yesterday on VSiN is that all the parlays, everybody's parlay in that they have the Chiefs money line in it. So that does make me, even though we're seeing, and all this stuff can be a small sample size, there's a lot of fucking people out there making bets that we don't know of, but I still think that the Dolphins feel like the contrarian side, if that's what you want to do. The Chiefs money line might be the more public side in terms of parlays, if that's how you're going to go about it. The over, though, is something I don't hear really anybody talking about. And it does feel like a little bit of a high number. As good as the Dolphins offense is, they aren't great on the road, and they haven't really been that great as of late. So, and we know the Chiefs offense has problems. So I really like that. I might tail you guys on that. And the last note I wanted to make on this, shout out, Gogo Dina gave out 5 sub bangs, by the way, W Greg and T-Mans with a sub bang. First month for T-Mans, new subscriber. Welcome. The last thing I want to talk about real quick, it seems as though it's a pretty common narrative, and I guess it makes sense. I don't think I'm on an island, but I feel like Achane could have a big day. I think Mostert may or may not play, but I like the Dolphins running game. And what I looked at in my comments to my tweet, it feels like everybody liked the Dolphins running game. You look at people commenting here in the stream, everybody is saying the same thing. The Dolphins have a better running game. The Dolphins are going to run it down their throat. It's great. It's cold weather, blah, 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 blah. So now what I've found, I've been a victim of this, is I feel like I'm on an island, or I'm cheeky and cute with a player prop early in the week. And when I come to find out, not that I started a trend, because I maybe have never even said it publicly, I'm not on an island. Everybody's on this fucking island. And sometimes I get duped with this. I call it getting Allen Robinson, because that's what happened when the fucking Rams played the Bills in week 1 when they had him and the guy did nothing. So I'm a little concerned now as a player prop. I might take a step back. I know it's a long-winded way of explaining where my head's at here, but I might take a step back on the player props, lean the over and the Dolphins. Any final words on this game before we move on?
One last one. So
Sure.
I wanted to mention, so as I've been watching all the primetime unders smack, and that become kind of like a pretty popular narrative that primetime unders are smacking around like week 13 or 14. I honestly, I think I texted this to you guys. If not, I wanted to, but playoff overs are coming. I really genuinely believe that with the weather, with everything. I don't think it's going to be primetime unders all year and then playoff unders. I think we're going to get a lot of overs.
The last thing on this is the Peacock game, which I have to boycott out of principle. It's just so fucking stupid that NBC is going to have like reruns of Two Broke Girls on fucking their regular channel and then make everybody pay to watch this game on Peacock.
Don't you have my login?
I do. I personally, I'll probably use it, but I think people should boycott this game. I think it's fucking rigged.
You're going to dabble in a boycott.
I think you are fucking over here trying to ignite a coup against Peacock. That's not what we're doing on the Degenerate stream, ladies and gentlemen.
We should. Someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. Where do we draw the line? Where do we draw the line? But the other thing too, fucking good on Peacock, is they're going to get all the fucking Swifties to sign up for Peacock to watch this game and see her in the box.
Listen,
brilliant.
I will say this Taylor Swift thing is so annoying. It makes it so easy.
Not going away.
The Chiefs. It's not going away.
Where is it going away?
Oh,
all the Dolphins have to do is win, and it goes away.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So we are all Dolphins. But no, in all seriousness, it makes it really easy to root against the Chiefs, but it's also fucking brilliant. I hate it too. We are not going to boycott this game. I have Peacock because I got into Botched a little bit, which is a pretty good shit reality TV show. So I will be watching it. If you do need my login, I'm not going to give it to you. All right. So that's good for Saturday. We have a first-time chatter. It will when the Dolphins win. Book it with Vegas. What's up? Book it with Vegas. And Ref That Bets raid with Party of 13. W. Okay, I saw Hazen say the chat is pretty split on this game. That's interesting. We got 200 heads in here. Love it. Vibes are high on this Friday. Happy to hear it. All right, we are going to go to Sunday. Greg, your Pittsburgh Steelers. In the Buffalo, let's see. I was going to pull up my phone. I have FanDuel. Now that I got a new computer, FanDuel will open on my desktop or on my screen. Looks like we got 10, a little juiced, -114. The total is extremely low, 35.5, but the over is juiced -115. I did chat a little bit with POD Pete. He talked to me about this game, and he likes the over, which I found pretty interesting. And on that note, Steak just said he thinks playoff overs are coming. This would be an interesting one that, even though it's low, I don't know that most people would see. We'll talk about that in a second. It's going to be really tough for me to get there with the Steelers. I don't know that I want to lay a big number with the Bills at the same time. Hate to be that guy, but it might be a total stay away from me. So I don't really have many thoughts on this other than ones that would just talk me out of betting it. So Steak, let's start with you on this one and we'll end it with Greg. Are you going to be involved in this game? And if so, how?
I'm going to be involved in every super wild card weekend game. It's one way or another. I'm just getting that out there right now. I'm not missing my chance to bet in the NFL. We're running out of time. I'm taking the over. It's just a weather play. Same exact thing. I'm taking anytime the weather's like this, I take the over. I kind of think that Steelers. Well, no, I don't kind of think. I think the Steelers and the Dolphins game both go over. One is definitely going over. You might get a 1-1 split. Both those games in the snow aren't going under. I'm going to tell you that right now. I can't get there with the Steelers either, but I think I'm at least 0-3 betting the Bills as double-digit favorites. I just did it against the Patriots when they were -14, and they made all sorts of stupid mistakes. I know they came back and they won the division. I know me and Greg got all our Bills futures, and we're riding high, but it's still a football team that seems to make a bunch of stupid mistakes. And I wouldn't be shocked if they made a few against the Steelers, but Steelers without TJ Watt is not something I'm going to be able to come around to at all. So the only play I for sure have locked in right now is the over.
Okay, so you're on the over as well.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, like to hear that. And WPOD Pete on that, because I always like when he gets what I feel like is contrarian or nasty. Yeah, the only thing that I really had a thought about this game, and then we'll hand it off to Greg. I think I mentioned this to Mid-Major Matt. And I thought I was on an island with this thought, but I've heard 5 other people fucking say it. So I guess it's not that clever. This gives me the vibes of when you saw the Steelers catching a ton of points on the road in Kansas City. And I think, Greg, I don't know, maybe you remember this. I don't know if we made it a newsletter play. I think that game was maybe like 2 years. I don't remember the spread was, if it was like 13 or something.
It was like 12, 13.
Yeah, and all I can remember, Ben Roethlisberger was playing, but still, I mean, he was fucking useless. It's just Tomlin with a lot of points in double digits. I feel like still you find yourself wanting to just take that and it's a Buffalo Bills team that really hasn't proven their worth laying that many points, I don't care that Mason Rudolph is playing quarterback. The Steelers have been, well, they went on the road and won against Seattle. They beat the shit out of the Bengals. And then they beat the Ravens backups, but whatever. They did what they had to do. Like, is your average better really going to be apprehensive to take that 10 points with Tomlin? I don't think they are.
They're not.
I feel like the public side would be the Steelers here. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that, but I'm okay with the over. Steak, just before we go to Greg, did you have something? I feel like you did.
I want you to highlight the ER surgery comment because that's exactly what I was trying to say. They're horrible as double-digit favorites. They're horrible. Nobody.
I'm just nervous. I just don't like to try to go in front of a trend. Like, do you want to be the guy that wins on a 1-9?
No. I didn't say I was betting the Bills. To be fair,
you're right. You're right.
I really might not.
I'm kind of thinking out loud. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk directly to you as if you were doing something.
But no, I don't.
Okay, Greg, how do you feel? And are you playing anything in this game?
I'm gonna get there with some props on that. What's up, Steak?
Sorry, he said John Ewing tweeted that what ER surgery said. Now that makes me love the Bills. Damn, dude.
But don't you think he's trying to make people think that they're due?
Do you think that? Because I feel like it's not what he's doing. Maybe
it's fun to talk about. It's fun to talk about.
Our brains are in pretzels. I'm not going to get there with a side or a total on this one, but there's some props I like. I get that the over is cheeky, but truly, like, the wins are going to be insane. I don't know if this is like, obviously it's not factual yet, but there's talks of moving this game to Cleveland. The weather's going to be so bad. Wind, snow, like cold, I get it. Snow, I get it, but wind actually is the impact. And I think too, to get there with the Steelers, to see a total this low and to see the Bills by double digits just tells me the Steelers don't really have a prayer. Like, if they get there, it's going to be, and that's the thing that sucks, is the wind's going to be so bad they're not even going to be able to get that backdoor cover. They're going to have to just run because the wind's going to be so swirling. At least as of now, that's what the reports are. So I do like the favorite touchdown is Josh Allen, which I find interesting. So I like Josh Allen and his rushing side, and I like James Cook and his rushing side. Yeah, because if you look at the Steelers too, their defense has gotten worse as time's gone on, and now you're taking away TJ Watt, and where they're weak is being able to run the ball on them because they've had so many linebackers get injured. So to me, that signals that the Bills are able to run the ball, and maybe the Steelers are too. But man, I think the Bills have a really good game. It might actually be just came to me, but like you saw Michigan against Alabama, they had a lot of mental miscues, a lot of dumb plays, and then in the national championship they got it together. Bills outplayed the Dolphins tenfold. I know they had the kick. I know they were down. The kick return, I know they were down, but they had there was a stat, every drive they had in the first half went 65 yards or greater. They just kept turning it over in the red zone.
Wow.
Interception, fumble. Like, they were able to move the ball at will. And this Steelers defense is just a bit banged up. Granted, Mika Fitzpatrick's coming back, but TJ Watt being out and all their linebackers that they've lost throughout the year is just going to be really, really tough to match up against this. So I like damn near every running back's rushing attempts in this one because that's the type of game I think it is.
Would it not be the most amazing thing ever if the Steelers game is in Cleveland, the Steelers win, and then the Browns lose to the Texans?
That'd be incredible. That would be the most Steelers thing ever. I would say, so the one thing about the Steelers, I've been pretty fond of them, and I'm so happy. I don't know if you remember this in the offseason. I wanted to take them to miss the playoffs. Glad I didn't do it. But I've took them for my best bet against Cincinnati, and then took them against the Seahawks, which was phenomenal. I have been watching the Steelers. What are you looking?
Whose best bet was against Cincinnati?
Wasn't that mine?
No, come on. You were scared.
I think you're wrong.
Against Cincinnati. Matt Canada got fired. I had him against Cincinnati.
Do we have proof? We have it in the newsletter, right?
Yeah. Greg, you're talking about when they played in Cincinnati. I'm talking about
okay. Fair point. Yep, yes. You are correct. So
let me start over.
We're both correct. Sorry.
And the reason I know this is because I didn't want to make the Steelers my best bet in back-to-back weeks when they played the Seahawks, so I made it fucking Jaron Hall. But my point is, I've been betting on the Steelers. I've been following the Steelers. What I really like about the Steelers is a running game. If you watch the Steelers, their running game has been so much better. Najee Harris is like falling forward for 4 to 5 yards. which is exactly the type of back he should be. He shouldn't try to be a Le'Veon Bell where he stops at the line of scrimmage and tries to fucking see which gap is open because he has terrible vision. And then Jalen, it's kind of like thunder and lightning. You got Najee Harris who can fall forward for 4 to 5 yards, and Jalen Warren that can fucking be explosive on the outside for another 4 to 5 yards. So the one thing this gives me a vibe of, this actually just came to me. Remember when the Patriots went into Buffalo and they just ran the ball every single play? I think Mac Jones had like 2 pass attempts.
You remember that was when it was a ridiculous weather game, right?
And the Patriots won.
Yes, I remember it.
If the Steelers are smart, that is what they do. Even if they go down in this game like 10-0. Just run, wear the Bills defense out. The other thing I'm going to say, Steak, you remember this. You and I, well, all of us, we love the Bills at home against the Cincinnati Bengals last year. You remember this? I met you at Sidebar. We watched it. You probably had a cherry vanilla high noon, and we watched this game. And what did we notice about the Bills defense at home in the snow?
So soft. They were like fucking stuck to the turf. It was insane.
So soft. They looked like they just saw snow for the first time. The Bengals did whatever the fuck they wanted. Granted, I'm not saying Mason Rudolph and Deontay Johnson are Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just saying, if I'm going to play this game, I'm not anti-over, but I do think the Steelers can find some success running the ball. So I don't know if somebody said it for a player prop. It's going to be hard for me not to take one of these running backs to do something. That's all I'm thinking. They also had Saddam Hussein as who? Oh, you're talking about Matt Canada? Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, somebody you get really leaning into like the terrorist thing with these teams that you don't like. Okay,
well, Bills, that's fair.
Fair, true. Oh yeah, right, because of the Sean McDermott thing. That kind of makes sense. All right, so before we move on, any final thoughts on this game?
One last final thought. Stephon Diggs didn't score a touchdown against the Dolphins last week, right?
Well, thanks to fucking rub it in. No, he didn't. Why are you saying that?
Every week, I feel like, me included, so I'm not calling anybody in the chat, but we say it's Stephon Diggs Day every day. And has he scored a touchdown since October?
I don't think so. He's also had a really, really rough stretch of not even just touchdown, but yards. I haven't said it's Stephon Diggs Day every day.
I say it. I say it. The chat saying this week, last week, I feel like we were all saying it. I feel like it gets said a lot, and so I just want to toss this possibility out there. I think he might be washed.
So I did.
He might be injured too.
Yeah. Well, let's pump the brakes. Did you see how open he got and Josh Allen missed him by 10 yards?
Yes.
That was the play. I held a Twitter space to announce my masterclass, and I think like 48 people tuned in to hear me play Total Eclipse of the Heart for a minute and a half and say Stephon Diggs, only for this motherfucker to get wide open, do exactly what we needed him to do to score the first touchdown at any time, and Josh Allen missed him. So it's a little bit on Allen. I also kind of think, Stephon's a diva. I kind of think he might just be over it. He might just be over it. He might want to be out of Buffalo. Anyways.
Something doesn't seem right. That's all I'm saying with him.
Yeah. But he did have a good game. He had like 8 catches for 82 yards or something. Okay, so let's move on. Here's a game I'm very excited.
The last thing with the Steelers thing, since we've been on, it dropped.
Oh, sorry, real quick, Greg. No
yeah.
Gabe Davis. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that doesn't really strike. Yeah, he left the
Khalil Shakir, masterclass.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Greg.
But the totals dropped to 34.5 now, and the Steelers are down to 9.5. This is just going to keep sinking. So
somebody is watching the stream and just moved the market because they heard my pitch about the Steelers offense. Run the ball, control the clock, cover the big spread. I like the Steelers, but I'm not going to do it. I get the John Ewing tweet, but I think people are going to say that, they're due to cover that big spread. I don't think so.
I mean, the Bills, you saw it, somebody in the chat said it, the Bills rushing attack against the Cowboys. The Steelers are really going to struggle to stop the run. So I actually think this weather, as much as you might think the shitty weather favors the dog, I actually think in this instance it helps the Bills a little bit, because if Josh Allen's going to drop back and pass, that's where he makes mistakes, and that's how the Steelers win. If they just run, it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Good stuff. How's our tempo and pace? Good. 11:50. What are there, 6 games? So we got 3 left. Oh, we're doing great. Okay. Here's a game I'm very excited to talk about. I think this is probably, I'm not going to say it's the game of the weekend, but I am very excited to watch this game for 2 reasons. It feels like it's Cowboys and Packers. The Cowboys are at home. They're -7. I thought I saw 7.5 at one point, but maybe that came and is gone very quickly.
It did.
Okay. Total's at 50.5. I know mid-major Matt was DMing me about thoughts on the total, which do not correlate to my thinking on this because my best bet in the newsletter, which by the way, if you guys are new here, I'm going to give you the link. Go to the degenerateweekly.com. You can subscribe to the newsletter for free. We send it out Friday morning with our best bets. We had a very nice NFL season. We hope to continue that success in the playoffs. I wanted to bet the Cowboys. I know it's my public brain talking. I know everybody's going to think the Cowboys are going to beat the shit out of the Packers. I don't care. The public win bets, squares eat. I can never eat with the squares. So I started thinking to myself more and more, you know what this game reminded me of? Steak, I had to bring this up because I think you lost a lot of money. But do you remember when it wasn't wild card weekend? Do you remember when the Packers were -7 at home against the Niners and the weather was really bad? And we thought Aaron Rodgers, no way they're losing to Jimmy Garoppolo. And before that, the Niners were a really trendy dog and beat the Cowboys. I'm pretty sure we probably all in some way, shape, or form had the Packers money line in that game, and the fucking Niners ended up beating him. And it was a weird way they beat him too. It was like a punt return or a block punt, something like that. That gives me a little pause because I always feel like that touchdown favorite's going to be the teaser buster of the weekend, and it could be the Cowboys. But ultimately, I don't see it happening. I think the Cowboys are going to score. I like scoring in this game. What I wrote about in my write-up, I'm going to go with the Cowboys team total over 29.5. I wanted to remove the Green Bay's offense, even though they're fully healthy from what I understand, might be for first time in a very long time, because they're really inexperienced. And also, I just think the Cowboys defense is really good. But I like that the Cowboys made it through that tough stretch in their schedule. Oh yeah, this is so cool. It does that now. Granted, they lost 2 of 3 to the Bills, Dolphins, and then beat the Lions, although they could have lost. But in doing so, they came away winning the division somehow. And then in that final week where they went to Washington, they were double-digit favorites. They kind of got off to a slow start. They still found the rhythm and scored 38 points. I think they come home. I think they put on a show. And I'm sick and fucking tired of losing money fading Joe Barry. For 2 weeks in a row, I faded Joe Barry, the defensive coordinator for the Packers. This guy sucks. The Packers defense stinks. I like the Packers. We hit their win total over. I'm not anti-Packers, so if there's any Green Bay people in here, I don't want to hear it. I just think their defense is awful and he sucks. Give me Dak. Give me McCarthy in a revenge game to score points. That's where I'm at. Greg, we'll start with you on this one and switch it up. What do you think about the Cowboys-Packers total at 50.5?
I mean, I side with you on this. I like the Cowboys team total over. I might just play the over in this game. I know you want to remove the Packers, but I understand that. I don't necessarily disagree with it. But I think if you need the over late, that backdoor is going to be there, and I could see where the Packers or the Cowboys get a good lead and they sit on it, and then you get some Packers scoring late third quarter, fourth quarter, and that's how you get to the over. So I might just play the over outright and not get too cute with it. On a side total, you can make a really strong case for both of these things. Again, going back to what I said in the beginning of like rookie quarterbacks making their first start, Jordan Love and this Packers team is just too young. They're just too young to really make an impact and win this game, I think, at least. I do think the Cowboys are ripe for upset, and it's tough to get there with either team. But my thought process is if the Cowboys get out to a big lead, jump on the Packers live, because that's sort of where McCarthy gets himself in a pretzel and makes boneheaded moves down the stretch. Like, dude, looking back, as much shit as the refs got in that Cowboys-Lions game, the fact that fucking McCarthy threw 3 times in a row when all they had to do was get a first down or just run the clock and he had the ball back to him with seconds, like, that's so beyond boneheaded in a game that mattered to them at home. Like, this guy, there's just no way you can comfortably back him in a clutch situation game. So yeah, give me the over. Give me the over. Right. I might get cute and take the over and the Cowboys team total over, but I do think you see some points from the Packers late, and that's why I went just the all-out game over. Because, dude, honestly, the Cowboys could get to 28 and just do what they do and just sit there and let the Packers back in. So
I don't really know that I think that they sit on leads. They scored over 30 points 7 of 8 home games. I mean, they beat the shit out of teams. They cover spreads. They make it nasty. But I get what you're saying.
In clutch situations. If it's against the Panthers in week 12, fantastic. They'll keep running it up. But I feel like McCarthy in these clutch situations, just something clicks in his brain and he goes, he makes bad mistakes.
Fair enough. Steak, what do you think about this game?
I'm going to keep a promise to myself that I made like 6 weeks ago. And I said, no matter who the Cowboys play, no matter what the spread is, and no matter where the game is, I'm going to fade the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to take the Packers plus 7.5. And I'm going to say something insane. I wouldn't be shocked if they won. I don't think the Chiefs and the Cowboys are both winning. I really don't think it's that easy. I think one of those has to bust the teaser. And what better franchise to pull off this kind of win against the Cowboys than the Packers? Obviously, another team that I think has absolutely nothing to lose because this season was already a success. I think Packers agree. They've not only found their franchise quarterback, they found a whole gang of fucking receivers, Dontavius Wicks and Jaden Reed. They're ballers. They got 2 great tight ends, not to mention Dobbs and Watson. So I'm just totally fine. Like if I lose a unit fading the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs, I'll still be able to sleep at night. And I'm absolutely putting a unit on Packers plus 7.5 and to be determined about the money line. But I might get a little cute because I'm feeling good after Michigan.
Okay.
Fair
enough.
Steak, I don't disagree at all. I just think I can get this at Packers plus 10.5, plus 14.5 in game. And I'd like that extra cushion. And I'm not like convicted enough to play it at the jump. And yeah, that is a point. Like LaFleur has not been a great coach either, but there's way more pressure on the Cowboys.
Wait, one more thing. Way more pressure on LaFleur when you got Aaron Rodgers too. This is like starting at 0-0 for me when you got Jordan Love, just being honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think I'm in agreement with most people that like the Packers offense showed some serious potential in the future. Jordan Love played a lot better down the stretch. But the one thing I can't get over, especially with the defensive side of the ball with the stretch, is who the Packers played. They played Tommy DeVito in New York and they lost. They played the Bucks in Green Bay. Not only did they lose, Baker Mayfield had the best performance ever by an opposing quarterback in Lambeau. Then they played Bryce Young. The Panthers scored 30 points, a Panthers team that got shut out in back-to-back weeks. He scored 30 points. Bryce Young had his best game as a rookie. Then they played Minnesota, and they played much better, but it was Jaron Hall, and then Nick Mullins came in there late. And then Justin Fields and the Bears. They did a good job against them. The Bears had played much better. They only scored 17 points. It was a low-scoring, ugly game. That doesn't really impress me. It doesn't impress me. So ultimately, that's why I can't get there with the Packers. I also can't lay it with the Cowboys. I totally agree with you. I think you make good points. If the Cowboys lose this game, I'm not going to be totally shocked. What will shock me and where I'm willing to put my money is if the Cowboys cannot score more than 28 points at home against this Packers defense, who hasn't faced a good quarterback, a really good quarterback in the last 5 opponents. So that's where I'm at. The one thing I wanted to mention, look at the defenses the Cowboys have played, brother. Okay, fair enough. The one thing I want to mention is that is true. They only put up 20 points against the Lions defense. The Steak talked about it. Maybe nobody talked about it. Mike McCarthy. Oh, I think it was on the Chernoff podcast, Greg. Maybe you can vouch for this. He had talked about Mike McCarthy. Everything has been going right for McCarthy this season. Like all his 50-50 calls, for the most part, have been going in his way. And he feels like that's due to even out. He was bringing that up. And somebody said in chat, over 1.5 Mike McCarthy fuck-ups. We already kind of saw it. So that is definitely a very good point, a valid point to bring up as a reason to maybe not play the Cowboys. All right, it's 12 o'clock. I think we're doing great with tempo and pace. We have 2 more games left. And if we have some time, we'll drop the link and we can get, if anybody wants to come up and pitch a player prop or a TD score, we're going to do another parlay for this weekend and do a giveaway. All right, let's talk probably the game of the weekend, Rams and Lions. Steak, I know this is your best bet. You're pretty fired up. You just won a fuck ton of money on Michigan in back-to-back weeks, so now you are Team Michigan. If you win this game, maybe you'll buy some property and real estate in Michigan. Maybe you'll open up a little yoga studio or coffee shop. Who knows? We'll see if we have enough time. So Lions are at home. I want to say they were they 4? Opener, according to the Action Network app, is 4, down to 3. The 3 is still juiced. Let's see. According to FanDuel, the 3 is still juiced minus 118. Here's the board for you guys. By the way, that 50.5 in the Cowboys total is juiced to the over, but Mid-Major Matt did make a good point. The total opened 48.5, which is a little low. And the total here is 51.5, very high. However, it makes a lot of sense. Lions defense isn't very good. The Rams offense is pretty good. The Lions also can score. However, the one thing to point out before we get going, the Lions are officially going to be out with Sam Laporta, I believe. That's probably the reasonable line move. I have some thoughts about this game, but I'll wait till the end. Steak, this is your best bet. Tell us what you like.
This is the best situation ever. I'm just going to say that as a gambler, this is the best situation ever. I don't give out locks or anything like that. But god damn, man, I know everybody loves this storyline, but this storyline has me hyped up. The Rams traded Jared Goff to Detroit to let him die. I don't think anybody thought you would hear from him again. Everyone thought they'd be cellar dwellers and top 10 pick guys for the at least the entire time that Jared Goff, maybe
Guilty.
not you, but the public for sure thought
Guilty.
that was the narrative. Here, please take Jared Goff and give us a bunch of picks. Please take this guy in his contract. A guy who had already been to the Super Bowl, who I think is kind of gets unfairly shit on, even maybe still to this day. And now the narrative is, oh, Stafford has the experience and the better receivers. Arguable in my opinion, but that's what people are saying. Second leading rusher in the NFL. But I just want to say this. I think the Lions are a much better football team. I think the Rams defense overperformed this year, and props to them. They had an amazing year. I was on the Rams team total over, so I'm not a hater whatsoever, but I think they overperformed. And I think Jared Goff is going to dice them up in Detroit in this game. I also have heard the narrative that Dan Campbell's an idiot, and he is. I agree. I don't think his coaching is going to matter in this game because I absolutely believe the Lions are going to win convincingly by double digits. I don't think it's going to come down to a stupid 2-point conversion call or going for it on 4th and 2 in your own territory. I do not think that we're going to have to worry about Dan Campbell fucking us, but I have heard the narrative. Give me Stafford over Goff. Give me Puka and Kupp over Amon-Ra and nobody. Give me McVay over Dan Campbell. That's all I've heard. And I'm going the Lions bigly. I think they have a party in Detroit this weekend.
All right. I'm with it. I'll tell you why in a little bit. But Greg, what are your thoughts on this game?
TJ, me and you are probably on the same. I don't know if this is necessarily a Goff masterclass. I think he can dink and dunk, but I think this is more the Lions rushing attack, and I think they're able to. Nice little thumbs up on it.
Yeah, dude, I thought somebody hacked me. I'm not gonna lie. It's like the new computer thing, which is cool. Sorry to distract you. Continue.
I think Montgomery and Gibbs, and they just feed them, and keep Stafford and the passing attack off the field. And I mean, as bad as this defense has been against the pass, they did really well against the Cowboys at home. You can't discount that. Granted, CeeDee Lamb fumbled one out of the back of the end zone, but they still showed that they, in a big time game, can step up and limit the other offense. And for that, I really want to get behind the Lions. I have a big parlay for me. They're a part of it, money line, but the Rams are just a really trendy team, and everyone don't sleep. And we said this in the news, like, don't sleep on the Rams. It's like, okay, they fucking have gone to a Super Bowl with this coach. They won a Super Bowl with this coach and quarterback 2 years ago. Like, you're not sleeping on them. Like, people are aware of Matt Stafford. So I'd like the Lions, and Campbell's just fucking scrappy, man. I saw a clip of, remember his like initial press conference? He's like, I'm going to bite your kneecap and you can kick me down and I'll bite the other kneecap. Like, he's a psycho. And as much as you want to say McVay, there's two narratives of this, or there's one more popular out there. And I think a lot of sharp bettors say, McVay knows how to shut down Goff, and he knows all his little quirks, and he's going to be able to exploit them and completely embarrass him. Fuck that, man. Give me the guy who's got a chip on his shoulder and he's pissed off and he was thrown to go die in the winter. He was thrown north of the wall. Fucking that's what he was. It's Jon Snow. He was thrown up there just to go die, but now he's coming back and he's alive. And I will take Jared Goff in this because I think the weight of that chip on his shoulder outweighs whatever McVay can scheme up.
Good stuff. Steak, I know you got something to say. I love it. You can't even keep yourself contained.
I'm sorry, because Greg mentioned that CeeDee Lamb fumbled one out of the end zone. Bro, the Lions had Dak sacked in the end zone for whatever reason. I don't know what that Lions was doing, bro. They scored a 98-yard touchdown. They had no business scoring. The Lions defense played great against the Cowboys. And if anything, I think you could argue that the Lions defense is underperforming, which is fair, but I still take the Lions defense over the Rams defense. I think you pull a random NFL fan on the street and told him to name 3 guys on the Rams defense. He couldn't. Not buying it. Not buying the Rams defense. I think they're going to get slaughtered.
So, also just real quick, MJ just sat down for a work meeting. Coworker says he loves this under in the Chiefs game because of the weather. Smiley
Love
face.
that.
W. Thank you. We always love hearing that. POD Pete, who is a Rams fan. Pete, are you on your personal account and just baseball fans, by the way?
Kobe, keep the numbers up. Pump the numbers up.
He is just baseball fans, and he's also Peter Apple 23, I think, unless that's a burner. I don't fucking know.
Pete likes the Rams, or he's just a fan?
Pete's a Rams fan, but he's taking the Rams to win.
Ooh,
I know.
I don't know if
I told
like
him
fans.
I told him they're the trendiest dog of the weekend, and he said that he did say that sometimes the public's right, which he's correct. We will acknowledge and we will square up many times. And shout out to Pete, by the way. He had a very, very good NFL season. That can't go unnoticed. Betting in the NFL, sports betting in general is very hard. If you have a profitable season, W's to you. I found this season to be very challenging. So the one thing I want to talk about a little bit more, because I agree with you guys on the game script. I think it's the Lions. I don't really know where I stand with the total. It comes down to, Raheem Morris, who used to be a coach for the Bucs. He's a pretty good young coordinator. He started out pretty hot as a coach, fell off terribly. Shout out Josh Freeman, but he's got this defense playing really, really well. And I'm not going to really take that away from him. I have thought at times they've been overperforming, and sharp money hit Rams overs almost every week. And Chernoff pointed out in this podcast, but we would always see totals in the Rams games move up, and they would tend to fall under because their defense would play well. So I thought to myself too in the later half of the season, this Rams defense overperforming. They still fucking played pretty well. Now, I'm not going to take anything away from them, but what I will do is Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions, against this Rams defense on the road in a playoff game. Now it's a different story, in my opinion. A lot of things change in the playoffs. This is going to be a fucking fired up Detroit field. Is that what it's called? Dome atmosphere. The Lions offense plays very well. And what I have been saying is all eyes are on the Goff revenge game. I think this offense, whether Laporta plays or not, because now we're hearing that he's going to give it a go, is going to step up and they are going to run the ball down the Rams' throats. I think they're going to control the clock. I think they want to keep fucking Stafford on the sideline. And I think they win this game. And then what Pete told me, which I didn't know at the time, is the Rams' run defense is their strength. That's fine. They have had some pretty good performances. Jerome Ford was like 9 rushes for 19 yards. Kenneth Walker only got hurt after 6 carries, whatever. But I don't care. I think this is a game, like I said, where you look up and Montgomery or Gibbs are averaging like 5.4 yards per carry. I think they both probably fucking score. I think it takes a little pressure off Goff, if anything. But when he's needed, I think Goff does play very well. I think he's going to have an efficient game. And then his rebuttal to me was, how are the Lions defense going to stop Matt Stafford, Puka Nacua, and Cooper Kupp? I can't believe I just said Nacua instead of before Kupp, but you know what I mean. And you know what? The only answer I have to that is pressure. I think they get to Stafford. I think they sack him. I'd be down to take a fucking sack prop, or if there's a prize pick or something. I don't know who. I'm sure Aiden Hutchinson's going to be very juiced. But that's how I think they do it. I think the Lions run the fuck out of the ball. That's kind of the parlay the prop I'd be looking for. And yeah, I agree. I like the Lions. So any final thoughts on this game before we move to the last one?
One last one, just because I want to talk about the Rams defense. Since November 5th, they played Seahawks, Cardinals, Browns, Ravens, and then Commanders, Saints, Giants, and the 49ers with Sam Darnold. Jared Goff is the second best quarterback, with the exception of Lamar Jackson, and the best throwing quarterback they're going to play in 2 months. He's slaughtering them.
Yeah, and I guess it's unfortunate Sam Howell didn't have that masterclass, so I would have to agree with you.
He was close.
It was really close. Jacoby Brissett came in and looked pretty damn good, though. Let's not forget. All right, so that's where we're at. Sorry, Pete, but good luck. If the trendiest dog of the weekend comes through, so be it. We tip our cap and we move on. All right, last game of the slate. My Bucks, division winners, hosting the Eagles. This is hilarious because Greg has been a huge Bucks hater all season. A Baker hater all season, and this motherfucker did a 180 like he went through a car wash late in the week. He was what were you? Anti-Eagles, right?
Do people do 180s in college?
No, but he went in dirty and he came out clean. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Oh, that's way better. That's way better.
I like that.
You were actually going to come around to the Bucks for the first time, and then you decided late. Not only do you like the Eagles, you love the Eagles.
Yeah, man, I do. I think you will not find, if you look at the season, and this is right angle sports words, but this was one of the things that really made me start thinking about it. If you look at the Eagles' value in the market and you look at the Bucks' value in the market, they have done. Oh, damn, my hands are backwards. Complete 180. The Bucks are at the absolute top of their price point, and the Eagles are at the absolute bottom. And you're still seeing the Eagles as a field goal. They opened at 2.5. They got moved up to 3. Man, I just the Eagles feel so dead. And really, what I think is going to happen, because I'm certainly not on the Eagles bandwagon or on the trend by any means. I think the Eagles are going to win this, and then everybody's going to, ooh, maybe the Eagles are back. Now's the time to get cute, take them to do something. And I think they get massacred by the 49ers again. But I do think, line in the sand, they come out and win this game. Baker's overperformed all year. And the other thing too, maybe I'm not going to say that. I shouldn't say that because Baker's been phenomenal. But I think he is the type of guy, and you saw from Trevor Lawrence this year, Baker's done it too. He plays when he really shouldn't, and he's not healthy enough to go out there. I mean, the fact that they couldn't score a touchdown against the Panthers D, like, granted, the Eagles D has their problems. I do think he probably gets a deep bomb to Mike Evans, but I think the Eagles are able to stop the Bucs run. And I think other dominoes fall in their favor after that. So I like the Eagles to step up. I mean, dude, you look at the Eagles were 1-5. They're 1-5 to end the season. It's ungodly terrible. They lost outright to the New York Giants last week in a game that
and Cardinals at home.
And Cardinals, yeah. Like, so I just don't think now's the time to jump on board and buy that the Eagles are dead. I think you're going to get a little bit of life, and then they're dead. So I'm going to jump on that little bit of life this week.
Before we go to steak, I do just want to mention, not this.
Wow. Highlight just baseball fans.
Teams who have lost 2 straight games going into the playoffs are 16-7 ATS in the wild card round. Well, I like that. Steve's got a big old smile on his fucking face. The one thing I want to mention, Special K, I did consider this. I did think about this. The Eagles being 5.5 in Tampa, covering, and now they're only 2.5. But you got to acknowledge that makes a lot of sense. A, when you think about how bad the Eagles have been, and B, when you factor in all the injuries. A.J. Brown looked like he was down bad. Hurts has a fucking dislocated finger on his throwing hand, and Devontae Smith was in a walking booth 2 weeks ago. So I don't think the spread is weird. I thought about it at first, like, is that a short line? I don't think it's a short line. And yes, Baker is hurt too, which is more than fair. But I still think 2.5, 3 on the road is fine. Steak, go ahead, and then I'll wrap it up.
Okay, so everyone's talking about the game earlier this year. I would love to talk about it. I was there. I'll be there again for this playoff game. Boots on the ground. I left the game against Tampa thinking the Philadelphia Eagles were the best team in the NFL. I think I even texted you that, like, this is the best team in the NFL. So feel free to flame me in the chat.
Said they were beefy, which I love that.
They were just imposing their will, 8-minute drives, 9-minute drives. It felt like every time the Bucs got the ball, it had been so long since the last time they had the ball. They couldn't get in any rhythm. And I was like, God, this team is winning the Super Bowl. Because this is how you win Super Bowls. You impose your will, and you just fucking get the other team completely out of sync. Now let's fast forward to today. The Eagles look nothing like that team at all. If you had a 6-game season, Eagles last 6 games look like what? The second worst team in the NFL? I mean, are we that far off from that? They look horrible. And now the guy hasn't thrown a pass since the Giants game. It's pretty gross. I got to be honest. I think the line's right. I don't think it's weird at all that they're -3 on the road, given the current climate of the Philadelphia Eagles. With that being said, I'm definitely taking the Philadelphia Eagles. I watched the game last week against the Panthers. We all said it. We watched it together. We said, I cannot bet the Bucs last week. And I'm sorry, I cannot bet the Bucs next week unless Baker Mayfield is 100% healthy. And the Eagles are much more suited to win with a banged up quarterback than I believe the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are, even at home. And I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles for sure. That's already locked in.
Yeah, the one thing I want to say about this game, I think it's the Eagles. We've been Eagles supporters throughout the entire season. I have them to win the Super Bowl. I don't know why that keeps happening, but I am fully ready to admit, like, this team is broken. The coordinator thing, I think where I was way off is you see in the offseason, you kind of see these press conferences, and it's like John Gannon's a goofball. He meets Rondale Moore, he's like pew pew pew. And then Shane Steichen was kind of fine, a little bland, and I was like, nah, I'm not really that concerned with them losing both coordinators, because I don't know how I feel about these guys. I think there's an argument for Shane Steichen to win Coach of the Year just based off of the regression the Eagles offense has had, because they look so lost. They don't have an identity, and it's weird because they can do a little bit of everything, but their play designs are so boring, so bland. I feel like they've lost taking those deep shots down the field. And it's like they give up on the run too soon. It's really odd. I don't love the coordinator there. And then the defensive coordinator has been awful. I mean, if you watch it, maybe it's a personnel thing, but their schemes are terrible. Against Cowboys, they had guys 6-8 yards off the line of scrimmage. And I mean, they were just they were dinking and dunking almost the whole game. They had everything they wanted. They were averaging probably 6-7 yards per play. They switched to Matt Patricia. That hasn't worked out. Tyrod Taylor's dropping fucking dimes left and right on them. They look really bad. So I agree. I don't know who really wants to put money on the Eagles right now. I don't even think Eagles fans want to go to a bar to watch the Eagles play right now. That's how bad it is. So I like the Eagles, unfortunately. The last thing I will say is this. The Bucs, yes, they shut out the Panthers. That doesn't mean anything because the Jags did it too, and the Jags defense is terrible. What really means something to me is the Bucs only scored 9 points against the Panthers, the worst team we maybe have ever seen. 3 field goals. That is atrocious. And they very well could have lost the game. DJ Chark fumbling in the end zone, another touchdown run called back. Baker is hurt. And like Greg said, when Baker plays hurt, he is not good. I think it's admirable that people play through injuries. I think that's great. But it's a detriment if you're not performing well. And that's what I don't like. And he did it with the Browns too. I don't like the Bucs at all. I wish I could go to this game still just to be there for the atmosphere. I can't, so I won't be there. Maybe it's going to be a blessing in disguise. So we're on the Eagles there. Any final thoughts on that game? They'll do a quick recap. No.
So my final thought is if you look at, and this isn't just me saying the Bucs are frauds, but if you look at Super Bowl odds, the Bucs are the third lowest. The only teams with worse odds to win the Super Bowl are the Steelers, who are 10+ point dogs on the road, and the Packers, who are 7+ point dogs on the road. The fact that the Bucs are the next team up there, and they have a home game, and they're still 95-1 to win the Super Bowl. They're 31-1 to win the NFC. Like, Vegas just knows this team isn't real. And I do think that the Eagles run all over them.
Yeah. Somebody asked what we thought about the line of this game. We kind of already addressed that. And I think given everything, all the injuries on the Eagles side of the ball, Greg, that is a horrible argument. The Heat were the same odds in the NBA. Fair enough.
Maybe lightning strike. I'm just saying, like, in comparison to the other teams out there, the fact that they have a home game and it's a short line and they're still almost 100-1, like all they got to do to win the NFC is win what, 3 games? And,
yes.
And the first one's at home. So and the NFC's weak too. The Texans have a better chance to win their conference than the Bucs. And the Texans are in a much tougher conference with a rookie quarterback. I think you're kind of seeing what Vegas thinks of this team. And I think they're saying they're really susceptible to just get blown out in the game.
Fair enough. Davey Fairway says we want to see Steaks college basketball plays. Do you have some today, Steak?
No. I'll release some. I did corp shit, and then I came right on the stream to talk NFL, but I'll get some out there. Yeah,
I was corp, and then I'm going to go down to the studio, record some stuff with Steak and one of his podcasts. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. We'll do a quick recap real quick. So again, best bets are on the newsletter, thedegenerateweekly.com. You can subscribe. We are not playing anything in the Browns-Texans game. We're kind of all in different mindsets there. Chiefs, Dolphins. We like the Dolphins. We like the over. Bills, Steelers. We kind of are in disagreement there. I think Steak said he likes the over. Greg, did you say you had to play in this game?
I'm going to take some running back props. Probably some Josh Allen rushing, stuff like that. Maybe Najee even.
Cowboys, Steak likes the Packers. I like the Cowboys team total. That's my best bet. Lions, Steak's best bet is the Lions. No play on the total there. And then Bucks, Eagles. Greg's best bet is the Eagles. If I had to play the total, I would play the under there.
Me too.
All right, we've got 10 minutes. If you guys want to come up, we're gonna just do a little something different here. I'm gonna put I'm gonna pin this. Unable to pin. Something went wrong. I pinned the stream link. Oh, is it pinned?
I just actually got to run and do some corp stuff.
Okay. I want some people to pitch. Greg, thank you. Enjoy your day. Steak, if you got a few more minutes.
I'll hang out.
Did I do this right? I think I tried to pin this message and it's not letting me pin it.
Where's Hazen at?
I don't know. Hazen, can anybody pin that? Who is y'all's favorite dog? If anybody wants to come up here and give us a touchdown parlay, we're going to put them in a parlay for the weekend. Are y'all live sweating this weekend? I don't know yet, Steak. We didn't talk about that. Were we going to?
Not if you're doing dry January.
Okay, fine. I won't do dry January. Does that make you feel better?
Yeah. So Sunday, I'd love to watch some football with you.
Okay, fair enough. Blaine said, yeah, you don't have to come up. I'm just giving somebody the opportunity if they want to come on the stream and give us a pitch on touchdown parlay. We're gonna put it in. W Pure Pressure, no shit. Is it just NFL stuff today? Yeah, we're not gonna have time for CBB, but we'll look at the board later when I'm with Steak at the office. We'll put our thoughts in the Discord. Anybody got Discord link? Drop the Discord link if you're not in it already. W Steak, good friend. Yeah, seriously. Is it just NFL? Dalton Schultz TD. That's not a bad one. Dalton Schultz. Diggs 2 TDs. You do have the over, right? Steak.
Oh yeah, I don't hate it. I mean, I'm scared of Stephon Diggs Day, but I don't hate it.
I don't hate Jerome Ford.
That's who I like.
I like Jerome Ford. I like Jalen Warren. Saban TD parlay, please. Oh, so Gibbs and who's another Alabama running back or wide receiver? Amari Cooper?
Devonta Smith.
Where did Amari Cooper go?
Alabama.
Okay, yeah, there's one. Oh, Najee.
Najee, yep, that's a good one.
Devin Singletary? No.
I don't think so.
No. Oh, he's probably just giving a TD.
I was saying he scores, yeah. I don't think that guy went to Bama.
Joku. Oh, Waddle. I don't think Waddle's playing. Where did Pacheco
Bama,
go? Do you know where Pacheco went?
Oof. That's a good one.
Holy shit. Hurts. Joku went to Miami. Hurts went there too. I forgot.
Yeah.
Pacheco went to Rutgers?
Oh, yeah.
Njoku. That's a great one. I like Ford. I'm not going to take 2 Browns players. I like Ford. I'll tell you my favorites on each team right now, and then let's go. Browns, I like Ford. You like Ford as well?
Me too. Yep.
Texans. Who's the Texans tight end?
Schultz.
Oh, Kincaid is on. No, wait. Who's the other tight end that I'm? Oh, Dawson Knox.
Yeah, that's the other Bills tight end.
All right, I like Schultz. I like Ford. I mean, I would go chalk with the Dolphins. I'd probably go Achane.
Yeah, that's not that chalky if Mostert plays because he's going to get the goal line work. But if Mostert doesn't play, that's very chalky. I still like it.
Okay, fair enough. Chiefs, Pacheco, Kelsey.
I'm not taking Kelsey. I'll say Pacheco. Yeah.
Okay. Steelers. I don't know. It's Warren or Najee. I can't figure it out.
Najee's been actually balling low key. I feel like ever since people started making fun of him, he's been playing real hard. I'll go Najee.
Okay, that's fine with me. You can't go wrong. Bills,
Josh Allen for sure. He's scoring.
Packers.
Oof.
Aaron Jones.
I ain't doing that.
No. Why?
I'm gonna go weird and say Wicks.
That's cheeky. Cowboys.
See, these are the ones where you go chalk.
Ferguson.
CeeDee Lamb has to score, right? CeeDee Lamb is scoring, dude. CeeDee Lamb's playing like the best wide receiver in the NFL right now.
CeeDee Lamb.
He's scoring a touchdown.
Everybody loves Reed, they say. You said Wicks, though, right?
Yeah, I said Wicks. I don't blame anyone for liking Reed.
Okay. Bills defense. That's not bad. Wicks is a dog if Watson is out. Okay. Oh, James Cooks is a good one. I like Cooks. I would be down with Cooks.
Well, they're probably saying Brandon Cooks.
Oh, I love Brandon Cooks. He's the reason I got my fantasy championship. Weird. I like the Cowboys to score, but I don't know who scores. I think I like Ferguson.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that too. CeeDee Lamb scoring, dude.
Who is Rico Dowdle? I mean, I know who he is, but where's he from?
Running back.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Where's he from?
Where he went to college? Chat should answer that. They knew Rutgers real quick.
Where did Cowboys are dead? Playoff Lenny is a must play. That's not bad. TCU, Rico Dowdle went. South Carolina, we're getting conflicting information. Fake news galore. Pollard is scoring. Yeah, I kind of like Pollard, although I always feel like it's Pollard week, and it never is.
Never is. Yeah, never is.
Rams, not scoring. Shut out.
Kyron Williams scores every week, it feels like.
Yep, that's a good one. Gamecocks for Dowdle. Okay, I don't know who said TCU. Special K, fake news extraordinaire. Lions, I think it could be Gibbs and fucking
Gibbs, Montgomery, Josh Reynolds, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff's going to rush one in. That offensive lineman that reported ineligible, he's scoring. The defense is scoring. The punter's scoring. Just take whoever you want in the Lions. It's cashing.
Special K says Jameson odds are sus this week. All right, yeah, that's also an Alabama one too. Marcus Simeon home run. Eagles, I think Jalen Hurts probably gets 3 touchdowns.
That's the only way I see it happening.
Yeah. And then Bucks, I don't know. I mean, they're gonna score at least once.
Yeah, let's go Mike Evans because I really do think this is Mike Evans' final game as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer, so he could score one.
That's a fun parlay. All right, Ford. Who was the Texans guy again that we liked?
I guess we went with Schultz.
Ford, Schultz, Achane, Pacheco, Najee. Who was your Bills guy? Let's say Cook.
Josh Allen. Josh Allen is scoring a touchdown.
All right, fine. Josh Allen. I like Cooks. Wicks is fun. You think CD is going to score? That's fine. I'm going to go Ferguson. Kyron's, I'm good with that. Gibbs, Monty, Goff, everybody. Jalen, 3 touchdowns, and Mike Evans. What does that parlay pay? It's got to pay a lot of money.
Jalen, 3 touchdowns.
All right. Nobody wants to come up. That's fine. It is the middle of the day corp shit, so that makes a lot of sense. No peer pressure. Steak, good shit, man. I guess I'll see you at the office pretty soon.
Yes, sir. See you soon.
All right. Sounds good, man. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Any potential raid candidates? If so, I will be happy to raid someone. If Nutbuster with a follow, W Nutbuster. Is anybody live right now that needs a raid? Bookit's live right now? Are they really? Interesting. Okay, it's early for them. Owner's Box is live. You can do Owner's Box. GG's. I don't think Bookit is not live. All right, let's do Owner's Box. All right, guys. Owner's Box Sports. W's, thank you. Great vibes today. A lot of sub banks. A lot of fucking heads in here. We had 225 people in here hanging out. Absolutely love that. Wait, no, not yet. Wait, what's going on? Why didn't that raid work? Hold on. Owner's Box Sports. Isn't that the raid? Why is it not working? What is this? Why is it not working? Why can't I fucking text in here? Hold on. Is it not Owner's Box? Is it just Owner's Box? What is going on? It won't let me raid. Channel points. Chat settings. That's really weird. I don't know what's going on. Hey, Hazen, can you unpin this message? Something went wrong. Well, let me refresh. WFAN is really funny. Let me refresh. Raid Ninja instead. I don't really know who Ninja is. I don't know who that is. Is that a fucking video gamer? Box Sports. Oh, there we go. I just had to refresh. All right, the raid is commencing. Tell Johnny Giuntana to fuck off. That anti-Guinness motherfucker. Just kidding. I love Johnny Giuntana. Say what's up to the Owner's Box, guys. Yeah, let's raid a billionaire. Oh, yeah, exactly. There you go. Have a day, G-Gen. All right, W. Yep, I like Aaron Jones, too. Good luck on all your bets this weekend. I'll catch you guys Monday. Have a great weekend, and you're off. All right, peace, guys. Take it easy.